Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Vince. Yeah, I'm playing some Crash Twinsanity. I just gotta ask that cutscene where no Cortex was wearing Crash's sister's clothes. Coco, did he undress her? What the heck did I just saw? I'm so confused, Crash. What is going on? That Anyways, yeah, it's of course it's a whole game. I would question now. I didn't question it when I was playing it when I was in freaking elementary. These guys throwing fruits at me. I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, okay, this is the scene. I just don't understand why Cortex is shaking his butt. And why? What are you? Oh my god, this takes me back. Even in this dimension as well, like this had to happen all over again. Okay, did he learn? I guess not. What's up, guys? Vince Ryder here, and welcome to my, I guess, nostalgic retrospective of a game I finished on the emulation, which is Crash Twinsanity, a game that, man, I think I remember playing this around my middle school. My goodness, this was a long time ago, and I I couldn't help but really feel like, this game is kind of short. And after seeing a couple of reviews here and there, because I can, um, it made sense why. Because there's a lot of stuff that is not in the game that could have been in the game, and this is just like a piece of it. And there's just a part of me where it's like, well, damn. Because Twin Sanity is a good game. My goodness. Especially having the memories of the game, but now really discovering the true natures. It's kind of like discovering the true colors, the natures of a person. You find a game that you like and stuff like that, or maybe you know a person and you pretty much find out a little bit about them, and then you're like, okay, well, I don't know if I like that person anymore. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing with Crash Twinsanity, where I discovered that there's many stuff that they pull out from the game because of crunch time or something like that. And yeah, they just couldn't afford to actually get any of that at all, pretty much with the content and everything. And the game's fun. It's, one of my favorite platformers on the PS2. But man, I was kind of sad just to know that, I heard something about like a temple level, something around surrounding like them going to space or in the sky. There was a lot of potential of making this game. And I'm not sure if that's a good example of like, certain things that have to be stripped off because of a certain due date that they have to have this game out by this particular year, this particular day. And that's kind of sad knowing that that shouldn't happen at all. Most games should be delivered with the utmost of potential and, patience, because, it's worth being patient of a game that it's going to be good, especially one that is going to be remembered, like especially Crash Bandicoot, got to remember time after time. And I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what's in the details, because remember, I don't think I would had the internet at all when this game first got released. Remember, I was in in sixth grade when I played this a long time ago. And now playing it as an adult, I still enjoy it. I had fun memories of really enjoying and, really having my time for Crash Twinsanity, as especially with the characters and the certain things that they go through with of having this frenemy between Cortex and Crash. I wish there was some character to Crash, but I guess his main character itself, or what he's known for, is just not saying anything, which is cool. That's I guess you can pretty much just be a dumb character, but also be lovable by millions. And let me tell you, I don't know if the word smart ever comes around when it comes to describing Crash. Crash is a special kind of individual where he really does, there's nothing to it. He's a mascot within gaming history, but it's just that it doesn't really strike me as like this or that. And pretty much I usually never talk about Crash or look at Crash or any game surrounding Crash this way. I haven't played the newer Crash, because the reason why I want to play Crash Twinsanity is because it's one of the last games. I've been trying to actually finish a bunch of Crash games before I hit the Crash Bandicoot 4, being the one on the Switch that I'm going to be playing hopefully this year. And it's a game that I'm kind of just curious, because it's like the newest Crash game out there. And I actually really want to see like the new characters and just how everything flows in. It will be cool to see that. But first, this is kind of like one of the last trips before I go into that perspective. It's kind of crazy how there's no Crash games in any of like the PS3 or Xbox 360 consoles, like the newer kind of semi-advanced ones before hitting the PS4 and and Series X and pretty much the Switch and stuff like that before it gets into the full on like quad A consoles in a way. And this game itself, like the collectathon that I enjoyed from it really kind of helped me just flow to the game in my liking because I love collecting things. Collecting all the gems. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure what was the award when you collect all the gems. I'm not sure. I because when I finished it, I was done. I was like, okay, I got past through the last cutscene and that's it. And I wish there was more detail to this game of what it really can be a potential of. I wish we can play the other characters or play as Coco. I mean, and also the same thing that would be a good balance playing as Cortex as well. It would just be four characters, just like Cortex's niece. At first, I thought it was his daughter, but it was niece, Nina, I believe her name is. And yeah, it would just be four characters to play. And in no way I never heard of the freaking two birds, Maurice in whoever the other bird. These two birds being the main enemies, and never I heard about them at all from any other game. It was kind of like caught me left field or something when I actually got introduced to them in a ways, and seeing the origins of Cortex was kind of interesting, even though like this was basically I'm so used to actually seeing a lot of games in such a serious scope where it's like, oh, there's more deeper meaning of Cortex, there's more deeper meaning of Crash. No, there isn't, because they're freaking cartoon characters. There's really just, I don't know, I could be wrong when I play the other new games, aka Crash Bandicoot 4 time, whatever it's called, and I could be wrong about, really bringing my perspective when I do play that game. But for this one itself, or just the Crash Bandicoots I've been just so used to, the ones that are basically the old schools and stuff like that, before we get into the full on remakes and the new one, it just felt like, yeah, nothing really adds much to what it is. Then again, I kind of, I almost forget. I forgot to mention Crash and the Mutants and those series of games. But so I might as well get done with those before I head in. It's just that for whatever reason, Crash Clash of Titans and Crash Mutants and also Crash Tag Team Racing sort of feels like it's not supposed to be in the Crash universe. I will never forget the tats that freaking Crash have. I don't understand where that came from. But I might as well get played to those because I just realized it as I'm freaking making this review talking about Twinsanity. I'm just talking about a game that I grew up in, that I remembered the most out of any Crash game that I have ever played. It's kind of crazy because there's really not much to it of this game. You get four worlds at best, and that's it. That's kind of like you there's a snowboard kind of like a segment to this where you ride on Cortex. They do different stuff. I don't understand why this game doesn't have multiplayer. That could have been cool. You can basically use as I thought the whole rolling kind of like gameplay, especially the rolling duo where two of them are fighting but they're basically rolling, would actually add more a little bit, but it's just only little segments that has that. And the game was just very easy to beat. There really wasn't much to it. It's kind of like, hey, for this afternoon, we're just gonna go on an adventure and just go back home. It's sad because I feel like they could have done so much for the game, And I really hate comparing this, but GTA is a game where, and I'm talking about games where I know every segment or stuff like that. You know, it's more, GTA is more than just, finishing the level, getting revenge of, who's responsible for CJ's mother and stuff like that. But there is so many things to do in that game, owning territory from the balls, and also owning, like, getting your own stats and pretty much being, getting all the weapons, getting all the clothes, new cars, discovering different, areas of the biomes of like in San Andreas, and pretty much I really wish I could have got that kind of feel for for Crash Twinsanity. I don't know why. I don't know. Like I feel like there wasn't much to the collectathon. I mean, shoot, the other Crash game that was in the PS2, I forget what it's called. It's part of the PS2 or something like that. Revenge of Cortex or whatever. I forget. It's another platformer Crash Bandicoot game. Okay, I'm not talking about the racing games. I'm talking about the other Crash Bandicoot game that I played. Actually, I played it and I didn't like it because it also was finicky on my for my PC because I guess the emulation didn't really run smoothly with it for some reason. But I played it and it really just didn't. I don't know. Like at least there was so much things to do in that one because you get to collect different gems and stuff like that. The collection of it, I feel like there's more content in there compared to here in Twinsanity. Even though Twinsanity is a way better game than that one, and for what I seen or how I played the game itself, it was just a good old easy 3-day finish. It took 3 days for me to finish the game, and pretty much I'm not saying 3 days straight. I'm not saying like, oh, it's like this amount of hours of like 24 plus times 3 hours. No, I'm talking about for pretty much for the stuff that I was busy, especially busy with college. I managed to actually finish the game for a good short amount of time. I mean, I honestly you know came back to this game for nostalgic reasons. I came back to it and I got what I wanted. But man, does it feel cheap. It feels like you visit a city and there's not much that changed. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm done here. Go back to my hometown. And for most of what, the potential what I seek in this game, I just feel like I was expecting more. I don't know if I would expect that with any other Crash game. But for whatever reason, Twinsanity, I feel like, coming back to it as a, adult, as, a different mindset as I was collecting, I thought I was going to discover more things in this game. Not too much, especially finding out when just discovering that there's a lot of content missing in this game. There's a lot of stuff that they could have put in this game. And it's just all in a mystery. I feel like if they make a remake of Crash Twinsanity, I mean, shoot, they made a remake for all the other games, full on remake of this and that. So, I mean, Crash Twinsanity has to be on the list. But, I mean, that was during a time when there was a lot of Crash remakes, especially with the kart race series, with Nitro Kart, and also with all the other Crash. That in all these games that was announced for the PlayStation 4, 5, and the Switch, I kind of was hoping that there would be a remaster, remake, or something like that for Crash Twinsanity. I thought that was gonna be a thing, but that could have been the perfect opportunity for all those levels to come back, for all those like, oh, we didn't work on this in the past, but guess what, there is a redemption that you can actually bring that back. Or maybe freaking Clash of the Mutants series or something like that, or all these other Crash games, or maybe like Crash for I forget, man, I'm messing up freaking names for Crash games. The future ones that came after this one maybe have those levels, but it wouldn't be much of it because that's not Twinsanity. That's not the adventures of like Cortex and Crash. I want the adventures of Cortex and Crash. I thought we're gonna have a little bit, more character to this. There was barely any, and I really was curious about all the enemies and stuff like that. And I feel like this game is mostly surrounding Cortex's life, and that's when I get to the storytelling of just like how this game portrays of just like Cortex's whole life, his origin, the school that he came from. Really sort of shares that, in this game. And I guess I kind of enjoy that. Cortex at all is not really my favorite character, though he's the one that speaks more, compelling, at least the same kind of compellment of Crash in a way. So I guess that's saying much. But, I wasn't interested in I want to know the origins of because from what I heard, yeah, Cortex created Crash. I guess Cortex created this whole world. I guess this is sort of a story of Cortex, but it's definitely not Cortex being all nice. Because of course he's an evil genius, and why would I ever make any logical, sense or any empathy within a Crash universe? But at the same time, there was some potential that didn't really hit at all. That wasn't in the game. But other than that, that doesn't have that doesn't mean that this game really had me really reliving those memories, and I truly cherish those memories a lot, and I would never ever take them back. But honestly, yeah, I admit, like, I don't know, like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, like, the Evil Academy, and also just the one of, I guess, the snowboard levels, especially for some of the other ones that is in the beginning of the level. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for my talk of the game. Now, what about the Clash of Mutants and also these other new ones, these three ones, Tag Team, and also I'm on my PC. You know what? I'm gonna just set the score right here to actually make a promise, but also just to discover, like, all the different games for the PS2, since I'm on my laptop, and might as well give you as well. So the game that I'm gonna be playing next is the Mind Over Mutants, Clash of the Titans. I got that right, and also Tag Team Racing. Those are the other Crash games that I want to talk about, and I guess they're in their own different universe compared to what I've seen, and all of them are in PSP. So, yeah. Other than that, that is my review slash talk. This is my first Crash review. Never ever I talk about the other ones, and yeah, pretty much I'm gonna talk about more Crash games. I don't know if the PS1 counts, because those games are kind of like, those are easy to talk about, but definitely not, freaking, like, what is it called? Oh yeah, Bandicoot 4. Yeah, that's what it is. It's about time. Yeah, that's what I want. They call it It's About Time because there probably is people like, oh, it's about time the new Crash game came out. I forget the other Crash game for the PS2 that is also a platformer, and I wish I can find the damn name. Okay, the Wrath of Cortex. So yeah, that's the one that I guess, I'm gonna skip out of because it's just, nah. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, though. Hope you enjoyed this review, and if you grew up with Crash Twinsanity, let me know. One love and peace.